Today we're here with Joel here, and another iBuyer almost victim. Exactly what we say. This is a classic example of what some iBuyers are doing, and it's the reason why some iBuyers are being investigated by the Federal Trade Commission. Number one, they told Joel they're going to give him a market offer. They did not. They came back later with tons of fees. They told him that he was going to, when they went to do 2 weeks later, they said he could move out, do all this stuff. 2 weeks later, they came back again and knocked off more fees when you'd already made plans to move to Texas. And number three, they said it was going to be a quick close. They said they were going to close on the end of December. They did not, after you already made plans. And then here's the kicker, folks. Because they didn't perform, and Joel met Thomas and found out that his house is actually, you can actually get $50,000 more than this iBuyer offered. Now the iBuyer is threatening you with an email that says Joel has to pay them a 1.1% of the price if they want to get out of the contract, even though they're the ones that lied about the price. They didn't tell them, and they didn't close on time like they said. So, Joel, what happened on, so you made plans to close on December 30th?
Yes, they actually told me if I wanted to close in 15 days, they could do it.
Yeah.
So that's no way they would have done it.
And now we're on day what, 45 plus?
Yeah.
So you actually quit your job here because you're moving to Texas. The iBuyers knew this. They knew you were in a, you weren't in a jam, but you wanted to move and get on.
A quick sale, start the year fresh.
Exactly. And so you have these expenses, and then they come back 2 weeks later and add more fees on?
Yes.
Wow. And so then you're like, okay, because you already made plans, and this is what happens. People make plans, and so they just take that lesser amount so they can move on or buy a new house. And then they didn't do any of the things they said, and they didn't close on time. So now they're not closing on time, and now you realize through Thomas that that wasn't the true market value of the house that they said. And now you're canceling listing with Thomas, and what happened?
They hit me with an email that I have to pay the 1% of the initial sale price.
Yeah,
preliminary.
Preliminary.
So now this iBuyer is saying we screwed up, but we're still going to jam you up for 1%, and they send them the wiring information like it's one of those scam emails from a foreign country.
Little button, click here to pay.
Yeah, a little button says click here to pay. Probably tons of people have already fell for this scam, but this is a perfect example of how these iBuyers and investors are lying to people that don't know that they are not being honest. And this is a perfect example, but guess what? Joel's gonna make $50,000 to $60,000 more than what those scam artists tried to get his house for, and we're gonna put that money in your pocket. So any kind of damages that these guys caused, we saved it. And what would you recommend to people before dealing with any iBuyer or any kind of these investors?
Think it long and hard because they've done it to a lot of people.
Yeah, you've already done a little research.
Yeah,
and
now
you know.
I did it. I didn't do it in the beginning.
Yeah. No, imagine you're selling your house. 14 days is when you're going to close and get your money. They can't close on that date. You quit your job, so now here you are 45 days plus into the process. You haven't had a job for how many weeks now? So there's lost wages right there. And then, by the way, during the process, they send you a link and say, hey, you got to pay this fee, $500. They hit them with.
And I started the next month now to pay my mortgage again.
That's
exactly,
right.
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you something. The Federal Trade Commission is going to be very happy to hear your complaint and your story, along with the Department of Justice, because the consumers are fed up with these lies and this deception that's going on right now, especially in this time when inflation is so high and times are tough, and these guys are trying to scam and hurt homeowners and the middle class. Well, guess what? Always use a realtor before you sell your house to anybody, even if it's just to look at the contract, so that these scoundrels out there that are trying to prey on people's houses don't get your house and don't get your equity. We saved your equity. Now you're going to make a lot of money on the way to Texas.
If you're going to use an iBuyer, come to us. We'll represent you there too.
Talk to you soon.